XRP, this is not looking good. So we obviously had this huge liquidation event. We are just hanging out in this range right here. We are just kind of stuck in from this 270 down to 206. And let's talk about the charts in the astrology to see if there is a way out or if we are screwed here. One glimmer of hope is there is a liquidity gap up here, so we'll see if we can tap that one, if we can get all the way up there. I can show you guys what that looks like. So we open up here, and I believe this was on the weekly scale. Yeah. So there is a little liquidity gap there. When we zoom in, you can see it. It's this red area here. Let's zoom in even more. Do have a little bit of a cold, so excuse my goofy voice, nasally voice. So yeah, liquidity gap at these levels. I mean, it starts at like 264 to 281. So there is a chance that we get up there, but there's no liquidity gaps above that on the weekly scale. So that could be all she wrote. If we even get up there, so even that's not even guaranteed. And then if we zoom out, we look at the change in global liquidity line, as this is what we've been paying attention to for months. This does not have as close as a correlation to the Bitcoin chart, but Bitcoin's the top dog. But as you can see with XRP, when we get a dump in the change of global liquidity, XRP did try to get one new high back in, well, it did get a new high back in January, but liquidity was going down. It showed that there was downward pressure, and we fell way off a cliff here. We went all the way down to 161. And then when the change in global liquidity was going up, that shows that there's more of an uptrend, and XRP got a new all-time high. It did not continue, though. We got that all-time high, and it just started falling off as even the change in global liquidity kept going up. And that's this yellow line. And Bitcoin got its peak pretty close to here. If we go to Bitcoin, see, Bitcoin got the peak just after the change in global liquidity peaked. But for XRP, it happened well before. And the big concern is that, this yellow line continues to be on a downtrend all the way till approximately December 13th. It's not exact. It could give or take a few weeks. I mean, maybe even more than a few weeks, because XRP actually topped well before, months before. So it could be give or take a few months. That's crazy. The only good news I got for y'all is that there's a potential uptrend after December, including a possible liquidity event here. There's a big dump here, but it continues going up till approximately February so far. And this is a 77-day offset you see on the left here. So could there be a recovery into February and possibly beyond? But we have to wait and see what else is printed with this global liquidity line. Now, yeah, once again, this is the change in global liquidity. This is not just the global liquidity. So Raoul Powell said the change in global liquidity is more important than just the global liquidity. That's why we're looking at this customized chart here made by one of my colleagues. So we could also look at the astrology, as that's what we do on this channel. Make sure that it shows up here. Okay. So here's the XRP1 chart. I have two charts because nobody really knows the exact date that XRP, the Genesis block was. So we have two different charts. This one's based on December 21st, 2012. Yeah, potentially. I mean, we have a bullish transit, but it's all the way out into January 8th. Saturn sextiling the XRP Mars. So who knows where we're going to be by then? Are we going to be all the way down $1 or something? Are we going to be below $1 by then? I don't know. But let's take a look. It's really difficult. There's no major transits showing up here in November. It does have a lot of small beneficial transits, but November is highly unpredictable because we had Jupiter retrograde, we have Mercury retrograde, which is bringing more downside as it has historically. We have Mars opposing the XRP Jupiter, which is tomorrow, and that's volatile. That actually could bring a dump. It's possible. Then we just have positive, negative. We have Mars conjunct XRP Mercury. That's explosive on the 25th. It's either explosive to the downside or the upside. Saturn then goes direct. That is very difficult to predict. We don't have a lot of easy to predict transits here. Pluto is sextiling the XRP ascendant January 6th. There's a potential for a big major transformation by December 6th. And perhaps that could line up with maybe, just maybe. Could I say maybe again? XRP recovering in January. Let's look at the other XRP chart to see if we have any glimmer of hope for a continued bull run. Man, yeah, there's not that much. It's not giving us any major hints. I mean, we have the Sun opposing Jupiter, Mars opposing XRP Sun on the 20th, 22nd. That's actually not great. So there could be more downside. Sun squaring the ascendant, Sun squaring Neptune, which can bring confusion. Mars squaring Mars, Mars opposing the XRP Venus. These could all bring explosive moves and possibly to the downside. But once again, the good news is we have Uranus, the planet of technology, conjunct the XRP Jupiter, which could bring a big expansion of technology, big expansion of XRP January 1st. Man, but we got to survive until then. We have Jupiter squaring the XRP Saturn on December 17th. That's not good. Then we have the Sun squaring Mars, the Venus squaring Chiron, the Sun opposing Venus. These are all challenging aspects. Yikes. December is not looking good, at least just based on this XRP astrology. Holy moly. And all these transits are around, well, this one starts, well, we get Sun opposing Sun on the 4th. December 6th. I mean, that's right around this global liquidity, December 14th, possible bottom here. So it makes sense why if there's negative astrology then. Man, is that a buy the dip opportunity? It could be, but man, it's tough to get super bullish with how slow things are going right now. Could we just have a recovery heading into next year? That would be very nice, but man, I think I have to see the proof. I have to be proven correct with this. I'm probably going to wait for that confirmation because this is very difficult. Now, this is the reason I'm very concerned, very cautious. This is the XRP path that it's been on lately compared to the XRP path in 2021, and it's following it very, very closely. The little purple lines in the background are 2021. And man, it's now right around 2020 $2.23, right, kind of around this area, and it's just tracking this line. So if it follows this exactly, it could go down to like 215, then it might bounce up to 240, then hover down and go back to 220, then try to recover back up to 245, and then just fall off a cliff. So that's why I'm really concerned. I mean, it's following this so closely that, I mean, I can't say that's not concerning. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, I'm going to close this. Now, this is another really important chart here. This is comparing H bar to the Bitcoin cycle of 2021. Look at how close H bar looks like what XRP's done, where it got a peak, then it fell off, and then it got another peak that was a higher high. It got a new all-time high, but then that was the peak. That was the market peak. And that happened before Bitcoin peaked, just like we're seeing right now, where XRP, let's see, where XRP has peaked. You know, we got the peak July 2025, where Bitcoin peaked months after. in October. So that's very close to what H bar did last cycle. And once we had that peak, that was it. It just went lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And there's a bear market. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed that we're in a bear market, but man, the signs are not looking good so far. It's certainly possible that this could be an echo from the past, where the charts, the XRP chart, could be echoing this pattern. And man, best case scenario, maybe I would say less than 50% chance, but we could still get that chance. We could, but maybe I'll say 50-50 chance, where we could get just this echo from the past, and then we do get a extended bull run into next year. It's possible, but like I'm saying, maybe a 50-50 chance. It's really tricky. So I'm not going to bet my whole portfolio on that. So that's why I'm 50% in cash, because I'm not willing to bet the entire farm on that chance when we're seeing a lot of negative indicators. This is another possible saving grace where this cycle's indicator shows an up move. It actually shows it in December and approximately January. But that's just one indicator. And then let's take a look at this one. So this is, yeah, once again, H bar. I mean, this looks very similar to the XRP back in 2021, where we got one peak, then we dropped, then we got the second peak, and then that was it. Once we got to 2022, it was all she wrote, and it did not rebound again. We did not get a major rebound. It just kept falling off. So, that's definitely the worst case scenario, and it's certainly possible. That's looking a lot like what XRP is looking like so far. And then other potential end of cycle indicators are the Zcash pump, the Zcash peak that we just saw. Massive pump from Zcash. And, you know, some people think, oh, we're just getting started. But look at what happened to Ethereum Classic in 2021, where Ethereum Classic did a very similar thing. It got this massive pump all the way up to here, and then it just fell off a cliff. And did it get back above that? No, not even close. It just kept going down, 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 down. So that was the end of the cycle, basically. So that's a concern. Then total retrace. And I don't mean to be a downer. I'm just looking at the charts, guys. I'm just looking at the indicators. I want to make the right decisions. I don't want to be overly optimistic when we're getting screwed here. So, not being a downer, just being logical and objective. Let's not get too emotional. Emotions can get us in trouble. So we compared the total crypto market cap, what happened in the last cycle, where we tried to rebound and then we fell off, and XRP is looking pretty close to that so far. Where we're back down at 223. We're back down here, and you see this orange box. We didn't get above that again in the last cycle. So some people think, well, maybe I'll sell at like $3 or something, but we might not even get back up to $3 again. Worst case scenario. So that's why I'm mostly I sold most of my bags so far of XRP. We'll see though. Could January be our saving grace? We shall see. It's just the big concern that we're sitting that way down here already. If we were just sitting at 265 and we were hanging out there and bouncing off of that, that would be a different story. But we're hanging out, near the lows of where we were back in April, which is not great. But I'd say it's two saving grace. Well, maybe three saving graces is the global liquidity, changing global liquidity is going up. Potentially December, after December. The Bitcoin dominance still hasn't fallen much, although it's been going up. And actually, the Bitcoin dominance could certainly go up in December, from now into December, honestly. So if Bitcoin dominance goes up, that's not going to be good for XRP, and I think that's going to happen. And then there is a bit of a positive astrology transit for XRP in January, which lines up with this global liquidity line going up. So there is a chance, but like I said, I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm not going to bet the whole farm on that. That's just me. You know, I don't want to risk all of my portfolio in these changing times. So you know, in the chance that it does go up, you know, then maybe I miss out on like 20%, 30% of the upside, and I'm willing to take that chance. But who knows? We'll wait till December. You know, if XRP is way down at like, who knows, 120 or something, I might buy more. It also could certainly dip to like 196 or something. It's actually kind of what I'm thinking. I think it could dip to like 196 maybe in December. Who knows? Probably maybe down to 190 or 175 or something. I might consider buying that opportunity because then we might get a rebound. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Let me know what you're doing, what you're looking at on the charts, and I will see you guys on the next video. Let's go, bro. Why don't you check Aster and Strike? Yo, we could be at the end of the bull market, so I'm not worried about those coins. Should I invest in Bitcoins? Is it real? Oh, Bitcoin is real, yes. But definitely, I would not. If I were you, I would not invest in Bitcoin right now. Sorry. Perhaps I might think of investing in December. But, you know, none of this is financial or investment advice. I can't give any advice as I'm not a financial advisor. Crypto is very risky. You can lose your money. It's got to say that. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.